It's so simple that you can actually make paper in your own house. In your own house. In your own house. Ever since I made my impact of paper video, which by the way is down below, you can go check it if you want to know more about that, I have been thinking about homemade paper. I have been thinking about homemade paper recycling so much because whilst doing research for the impact of paper and cardboard video, I found out that you can recycle paper and make new paper at home. And that thought has sort of haunted the back of my mind for a very long time. So today I am going to make my own paper, or I'm going to recycle paper at home. The reason why I want to do this now is because I recently put up a zero waste hobbies video in which I talk about my newfound hobby with painting and drawing and generally using paper, and I have some amazing eco paper that I use, but how cool would it be to paint and draw on the paper you made yourself? I just feel like it's a full circle moment for the zero waste hobbies. So I thought it could be cool to do some small greeting cards with small scribbles and watercolor, and the paper is something that I made myself. Okay, I feel like you get the point at this point. So this is what we're going to do. I've never done it before. I didn't practice this before making this video, so you're going to see the first You're going to see my first experience with making paper. And I'm very sorry if it doesn't turn out great. I feel like it will though, because I'm going to say how hard can it be now, but I feel that's going to bite me in the butt at some point. So let's just get into it. So what I've seen online when doing just the bare minimum of research for this video, I saw that a lot of people who are really into DIY paper making is that they have tons of different tools and supplies that seem really specified to the paper making craft, and I don't have any of those things, and I have no intention of acquiring any of those things. So we're going to DIY it a little bit and see if we can find some substitutes for these things that we already have in our kitchen. 1 second. Okay, so I have seen that a lot of paper making savants, they have what is called a deca.
Hello, this is Editing D here. So throughout this video I'm going to call it a deca when in fact it is called a decal. My deepest apologies to the paper making community.
Which is sort of a frame with some mesh, and then you scoop up the paper mixture and then the water is drained through the mesh. And that is how you make paper. But this is not a sponsored video, but I don't have one of those, so I thought I could fashion something different, and this is what I've come up with. First of all, instead of the mesh, I have 2 layers of cheesecloth that I will then layer, you know, like crossed from each other, so the mesh is not right on top of the. Does it make sense? So like the patterns are inverted. I hope that this will make the water go through, but that the holes won't be too big. And then for the frame, and I actually think this is kind of brilliant. I don't know if anyone else have done it. I'm very proud of this. I am using one of these embroidery frames, and we're going to attach this, and I think it's going to be pretty. And for the purpose of this video, where I wanted to make sort of like greeting card format drawings, I think this is going to be fine. So the way I'm thinking this is going to work is that the paper mix is going to go in here. You sort of scoop it and then it goes in here and the water falls through the mesh onto the other side. That is my thesis, at least. We're also going to need some paper, so I sort of rummaged through our paper recycling and simply sought paper that we already were about to send to recycling. So I'm not going to use any paper I sort of treasure. This is our paper recycling bin. This is simply in our cupboard, and then we take this out to the paper bin once it's full. We're going to use a couple of different things. I hope this works. I don't know. But first of all, I have an essay from uni that I got perfect marks on, but it's so basic, and it's very gives you things that she's reading Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven in a completely different way from everyone else on Earth. I didn't. Then I have a print or like a test print of my label from my beer, Badass Beer. Then I have some packaging for some plant-based meatballs, a toilet paper roll. I have some paper package filling. That is the paper we're going to use. From what I can tell from the recycling process in an industrial recycling facility, you cut up all the paper into tiny small bits and you mix them with water and then you let them soak for quite some time. I think they have like what seems to be a big immersion blender as well, but I hope we can simply do with just shaking a container. So first of all, we are going, can you hear Molly just snacking away in the background? For our first step, we are going to cut all the paper into tiny small shreds. If you have a shredder, use that, that's perfect, I don't. And we're going to put all that in a bowl and fill that bowl with water. So while we're cutting paper, I thought it could be cool to share some embarrassing, funny, paper-related stories. Do you have any paper-related stories that are funny? I have one. Okay, so when I was younger, I bought a notebook that was made with paper where the paper fibers, the plant fibers, were extracted from elephant poo. And when you bought this notebook, you would support an elephant sanctuary, and I thought it was a really good thing to do. And it was cool to have a notebook that was made with like elephant poo. And the first thing I got once I had bought the book and I had it in my hands was that I ate a sheet of it. Because I think it would be funny to say that you've eaten elephant poo. I was 18. Back to work, everybody. Now we have all of these small paper shreds. This takes longer than you expect it to. But we're going to cover this bowl in water and then let them rest for about 2 hours or so. I think I'm gonna look at it every half hour to see how the mixture is doing. It's supposed to be really, really watery when you use your DIY deca. So it's been about an hour and you can definitely feel like the paper is getting soft and it's super easy to rip apart. But they still hold their normal shape. So I'm thinking to speed up the process a little bit. I don't know. We're going to whisk it. I think they just need more time. I tried to whisk it. It didn't do anything except maybe a little bit. It needs another hour of soaking. A couple of more hours has gone by. It's now in the afternoon. I'm wearing different clothes because I went for a run. I baked brownies and I took a shower, and now we're going to do something about this mixture. Some of it is still quite solid and still has its shape, so we are going to blend it and see if that does anything. If there are any like people who know something about DIY paper making out there, they're probably going, no! We're going to try and blend it and see if that does anything, because I would like to get on with this process before we lose all the light in the kitchen. Otherwise we have to split this up into more days, and we already have to do that because they have to dry overnight. So it's not, I don't want it to be a 3-day process. A 2-day process is better, but we're going to do whatever we can because we're going to make paper. Blend it. Can you see, like, you can see from this angle, that's okay. So I'm thinking not to add all of it, but simply just some of it just to see how it reacts. I haven't ever blended paper before, so this is exciting. I think it did exactly what we wanted it to do. Look, now it is this weird grayish mixture. It's perfect. Okay, so apparently this is the method. We're going to blend the rest and then we're going to get on with the process. Now we have our perfect gray mixture. It's very wet. I added more water as well. There are whole strands of small bits of paper in it still, but I honestly think that's really, really cool. So now we're going to take our homemade deca and we're going to see if this is possible at all. Okay. From what I can tell, you're sort of supposed to slightly and carefully dab the rest of the water out of the paper. So that's what we're trying to do here. But I'm I'm honestly quite impressed with this. Of course, there's lots of paper fiber left in the fabric on the outside of the frame, but I mean, that's to be expected. I think this is working out quite well at this point. Okay. So I'm done. I just cleaned up. I ended up making 8 different small greeting card papers. And I think they are so nice. I don't even know if my camera picked that up, but I think they're so nice. And yeah, now they're just gonna dry overnight, and we're going to check back in on them in the morning and see if they're all dried up. And if that's the case, we're going to paint on them. Guys, this has awoken something in me. Now I feel like next time we should do this, we should see if we could use some pigments like spirulina powder, and we can use plants and flowers and put them into it, sort of press them into the paper. And this is going to end up very cottagecore, but I want it. You can make seed cards, like greeting cards with seeds in them, and then you give them to people and they plant them in the yard, and then the possibilities are endless. Welcome back. It's day number 2 of Can Gide Mary Figure Out How to Make Paper? And yes, she can. Overnight, I had them dried near the radiator, so it was nice and toasty. 4 hours into the drying process, I could see that they started really to crisp up. So what I did for them not to be completely bendy and, you know, uneven, I stacked them between some books overnight for 8 hours. So now we are ready, and they are so good. I'm so excited to show you. At least they're good to me. If you're expecting more, I'm sorry. This is what you're getting, and I honestly think it's really, really cool. I made paper. Okay. So I made 8 sheets in total, and they're a little bit uneven, some of them. I am thinking about trying to cut some of them like this so they're completely round, but some other kinds I really don't want to do that because I do like the unevenness of them. I think this is so nice. So I have 8 sheets of paper here, and I'm just super stoked about this. I don't know if you can tell. I think this is super cool. And we're also going to paint them. I have a couple of ideas for decorations. So I also really wanted to do that, and this has sort of also sent me into a spiral. Yesterday I called it Pandora's box of cottagecore, but as Jens also pointed out, maybe it's not Pandora's box, maybe it's Pandora's wicker basket. Opened Pandora's wicker basket because I could also make my own paints, sort of with coffee and beetroot, and I could paint with my homemade paint on my homemade paper, and that would really be 0 waste. Like, some of them are more rustic than others, and they kind of have 2 sides. This is the side where you can see the pattern of the cloth towel. I'm sort of flipping you off here, sorry. This is the side where you can sort of see the patterns of the cloth towel where it was resting. The other side is sort of smooth, there aren't these dents. So I think this is the side that's best for painting, not the side with the dents. I'm just here to tell you, it worked. couple of different small things. My favorite has to be just sheer pen work. I started drawing worms quite a lot, and I don't know what this is about. I think this is really, really neat. The drawing itself was actually not that bad, but around the edges it is a little bit difficult to do straight lines. Obviously the paper is bumpier than normal office paper, but honestly I think it adds some organicness, some naturalness, and drawing simply just with normal pencils and pens worked fine. Then I did a couple of different things with watercolor. That's also something that I've been getting really into, and if you want to know more about the supplies that I use, I have a video, it's linked down below. So firstly I did some writing, then I did a little flower. I am trying to do more flower stuff like this, and I'm trying to be better at drawing plants and stuff, so this is simply just to practice, but I think it looks really nice. And the paper absorbs quite a bit of water, so you do need quite a lot of paint in comparison to drawing on normal office paper and, you know, like notepad paper. And then I have this, I think this is also one of my favorites. And this is also great for, you know, like a little party favor, invitation, greeting card situation. I think this is really, really nice. It's super, super simple. Yeah. This is definitely not the last time I'm doing this. I think this was super, super fun. And my mom, she's an independent artist as well. I am not, but she's been for 20 years, and for Christmas or her birthday or something, it could be really cool to do like a little stack of homemade papers. I think she would really appreciate that. Is it the easiest paper in the world to draw and paint on? No, I don't think so, but I think there is this gimmicky, cool other aspect of the paper being that something you made yourself. It was zero waste, and it's not, as you can see, completely impossible, so I think that's a plus as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you liked it. If you did, you can leave me a comment down below and tell me what you would use homemade paper for. If it's something that you've done previously, is it something that you want to do in the future now? Or if you have any suggestions when it comes to crafty things. Molly is going bananas in the living room with a squeaky toy I can hear. But leave me a comment. Be nice. Have a great day and take really good care of yourselves. Until next time. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching this video, and also a special thank you to my Patreon supporters. You guys help me create green, zero waste contents, and I love you guys. You can find the links to my social media accounts down below and the link to my Patreon on this screen. Bye!